In fact, it has started and we are in game, and in the top left position of Frost, we can find Snovski, the Protoss player from Denmark.
In the bottom left, in the red trunks, from Team Grubby, it's Grubby.
Alright. Okay, let's see if this is the time that Grubby will pull out all the legit builds, right? Or whether he will continue cheesing. And still, that might be an intelligent thing like we talked about, but I'm
well,
curious to
in
see.
this case, like, I think you should play to win, because it's PvP, so Optimus can't read into the PvP. Okay, it's
Right.
PvP, Optimus can't read into the PvP, and he's probably not going to have to play Snovski again. Or there's a slight chance, I guess, but
Yeah.
he has to beat him once. If he loses now, then he has
Yeah.
another shot later. I think he should play just his standard game, best game possible in this situation.
True. Yeah, I think so too. And so far, we don't see very a lot of funny things going on. Basically, the same build for both players so far. Both of them chrono boosting their workers, of course, to get more minerals. And of course, this tells us at this point, if you're chrono boosting your probes, this means that you're not saving chrono boosts for other things, or is this a phase in the game at which you'll always be chrono boosting probes?
I think you always chrono boost now. I'm not 100% sure. Maybe for like the really quick 4 gates, you would save your second chrono boost already, but you need a way quicker gate to do that. So in this case, it doesn't say much yet.
Okay. And both players going for double gas as well. So this does not look like going to be early expansion games, right? I mean, that's not something you see a lot in Protoss anyway, or?
There used to be a while, if I'm correct, like anything I say is like you need to take it with a grain of salt because my PvP is not that great, but as far as I understand, there was a while where one gate expand into a quick robo was kind of a thing, you know, it would happen a lot. But ever since the Oracle speed got boosted, I don't think that happens anymore because it just gets overwhelmed by that too much. I think that's the reason. I'm not sure that's the reason.
Yeah, it's fun how very slight changes, of course, can change the whole metagame, where a certain strategy
sure.
just loses its viability and you have to change it all up. Alright, and still identical builds so far from these players. Let's see if they have already scouted each other, by the way. Grubby is only now starting to scout, and Snovski has already scouted the right side completely, so he knows where Grubby is, but hasn't scouted his base.
So unluckiest as possible.
Yeah.
Because he's scouting Grubby last.
Yeah, so he knows about as much as, well, he knows slightly more than Grubby, but he had to sacrifice a lot more minerals for it because his probe been running around the map.
They're
not
both
mining.
scouting horizontally first, and they're both going to find each other last because of it.
Right.
Which makes it kind of fair, I think.
Sure, but Grubby, of course, he scouts his opponent later. That's going to be the thing for him.
Yeah.
But he did get some more mineral income during the very early phase.
Makes
of the
a
game.
big difference, more than you think. People often ask the question, why doesn't he just scout? Him sending that probe is easily 150 minerals, and 150 minerals is an entire gateway, extra or less.
Right. Oh, and we see a pylon going down from Grubby. Maybe anticipating that Snovski will be up there or up here. Maybe this is just to hide something.
It's just a warp in pylon in case his
Okay.
probe dies going upright. He's making a Twilight Council, and I think he'll start a dark. There's a dark shrine.
2 dark shrines. Actually.
So the pylon's there in case his probe gets sniped by the Stalker Mothership Core. He has a warping close, at least in proximity of the opponent.
Okay. So these players are going to build a dark shrine, obviously trying to surprise their opponent with a cloaked unit, right?
Yes.
It's not going to be for any other follow-up thing, maybe.
There's 2 ways this goes. There's the weird base trade stuff where one guy tries to proxy a robo and tries to defend the robo and get detection that way. Or one makes a robo right now, like Snovski is actually making a robo already. Or someone gets Dark Templars in the base and the other one force fields them out and just keeps force fielding. There's quite a few ways this can go, but I think this is looking pretty good for Snovski since he's making a robo.
Grubby's actually expanding, though.
Yeah.
Wow. Cool. Alright, Dark Shrine finishes up for Snovski first. And does he have... Yes, he does have a pylon reasonably close to Grubby's base. Let's see if we're going to see... Yep, there we go. A Dark Templar warping in.
We'll have to see what happens. I'm not sure about this scenario. It's like another one of those weird scenarios, like in our very first game where there's a proxy nexus. Like, sure, this happens quite a bit in PvP, but for me, it's very like weird to see because usually the builds are different for some reason.
Alright, okay, we see. I think Grubby sees the Dark Templar.
Yeah, I
He's
think he
picking his,
noticed, and he does have a robo on the way. It's not Like, it's in a good position. It's hard to like get surface area on it if you would have multiple DTs.
Wow, but great. He is losing probes though, so
Yeah.
he's trying to block the DT with his stalkers, blocking the DT from getting to the robo, which he's very successful in. This
Yeah, look
DT
at
is
the
just
power.
running around, not doing
very,
anything.
very nice.
Very good. He did get some probe kills. He's up to 6 already, by the way. That is significant, I would say.
Yeah.
Of course, Grubby has the earlier Nexus, so he can make up for it, but probes there are going to be under attack now as well. And Grubby's Observer is now being chrono boosted out, so this,
He's losing a ton
DT
of
is
mining
expiring.
time. This is actually pretty good for Snovski. Snovski needs to keep his cool and just keep playing his game.
Right.
And he's a really good shot in this game. Like, he's up
Wow.
in probes.
Yeah.
He's up in army. His Nexus is slightly later, but it's going to be finished in a second. And his Forge is ahead of Grubby's as well. So
Yep. And he even evacuated the DT before the Observer came out, doing maximal damage without losing the DT, so that's great.
yeah. Even making a War Prism now,
Doing.
which is cool. That means he can counter with DTs once Grubby tries to go for a push.
Really good. By the way, did Grubby ever warp in DTs? Not sure if I caught that. Let's look at the units lost tab. Let's see what that tells us. No, actually no. Grubby,
Grubby
Oh.
lost the DT, so he did warp in. He just
Right,
got
yeah.
sniped.
huh? So Snovski, he's in business for this game.
More than just in business,
Right.
I would go as far to say that he's ahead in this game. It's just a question is like, if he's nervous and you get ahead, you're like, oh my god, I'm gonna win, and
Right.
that's like the worst thing to think.
Then yeah, you get nervous thinking, should I finish it now or should I?
It's a lot easier to play from behind when you're nervous because you can kind of accept, oh, I'm behind, I'm just gonna try my best. Than when you're ahead, because then you feel the pressure of needing to finish it.
Oh man, I know that feeling. Yeah, I once took the first game in a series that I didn't expect to win, and
Yeah.
then the second game, one Marine showed up, and I just moved my hands away from the keyboard. I didn't know what to do.
What is his unit?
That was tough. All right, Snovski has a DT just right outside the base of Grubby, maybe trying to spot the move out if Grubby's moving out. But there is this is dangerous for Snovski because his DT is now in vision of Grubby's units.
What are
Still
his
getting
pros?
kills.
Is there
Wait.
the War Prism in the main?
the
Drop
War
the
Prism
DT.
in the main. That is great. So he distracted Grubby with the War Prism in the main, and now even forced a photon overcharge. Will he get the? Yes, he will get the DT. But this was great. If you look at the worker kill tab, so it's 13 units, 13 workers were killed.
So he killed
Wow.
an additional 7 probes with those two, with the
Yeah.
War Prism and the DT and the Natural. That's actually, I would call that worth it. That was pretty
Yeah,
good.
and he didn't lose the War Prism. That's also
Normally trading like Dark Templar, which is an expensive unit for probes, is not like if you only get 2 or 3 per Dark Templar, it might not be worth it. But because Snovski is ahead, it's like in boxing. You keep jabbing your weak opponent, even though it's tiring for yourself. If you keep jabbing, you might get a chance for a hook to finish the game.
So, do you have a lot of experience in boxing?
No, but I like this.
Okay.
I like the analogy.
Okay.
I think
cool.
I think
Uh-huh.
it's even though like in boxing it's like a lot more aggressive, you know, or not aggressive, but it's more physical and a lot of things are a lot different. But I think the 1 versus 1 aspect of boxing is very similar to StarCraft, where it's 2 people fighting each other, and part is about strength, but a lot of it is about mental strength, like believing you can win the fight still, you know. Very nice by
Very nice.
Snovski.
Right. Snovski's on top of it. I mean, even the quality of these force fields is admirable.
A bit of overlap.
A bit of
there.
overlap,
I think
sure.
Parting would be mad, but
Parting, well, yeah.
Snovski is happy.
Right. Cool. Yeah, he's on top of it. If you look at the supply too, right? Like he's nearly 20 supply ahead. Actually, starting his third Nexus.
Yeah, this is
so this is the get more ahead part.
Correct move, exactly. It's a la Arctosis. It's how you're supposed to do it, and a lot of people don't because
you were gonna see some Grubby micro, not too much.
in a way you can also give your opponent a shot at coming back if you expand, because you're allowing the game to go longer, and small differences make a lot less difference if you're both maxed. So
Yeah.
he's kind of dragging it out, which I think is the correct move, but sometimes it's better to go in for the kill because you're giving your opponent time to come back. And if Grubby is superior late game, that's risky for Snovski.
Yeah. Did Grubby, by the way, did Grubby find out about Snovski's third base yet? No, he hasn't seen the third base. Do you
He
think
has
he
no clue.
suspects it's there?
No, otherwise he would
Okay.
throw down his own third.
Okay.
I think.
Okay, Grubby taking out the photon cannon once again. Now trying to... He only got 1 probe before he was forced to evacuate. So he took out a photon cannon. I mean, that's nice, but it doesn't really distract Snovski or Grubby. Sorry, and doesn't do a lot of damage to his
It's
economy.
good because Grubby has to keep rebuilding it because there's DTs in play.
Right. Oh, that's true.
So
Ah.
it's normally it's a photon cannon, and you're like, oh, should I replace it? Is it necessary? Maybe the value's not there anymore, and then it's not kind of worth it. But every time he kills a photon cannon, Grubby has to spend time and money to keep rebuilding it because there's DTs, and if he doesn't have a cannon, he loses too much to counterattacks.
All right. Speaking of attacks, here comes Grubby.
Here, here he comes.
Here he comes.
He's at 99 supply. His army supply is 15 down to Snovski, but
Wow.
Snovski has 2 Immortals in the War Prism, which is a lot of army
True.
supply. And Colossi are not that great unless your army is big.
Yeah.
So even though the supplies are quite good for Snovski, this fight can still go really well for Grubby.
Yeah, this third is definitely in danger, I would say. Oh, and Snovski's army is even out of position.
He's sacrificing
Yeah,
it. He's saying,
sacrificing.
"Oh, you're doing this. I'm going Colossi. I don't want to risk a small army fight, so I'm going to drag it out as long as possible."
All right, all right. Sacrificing the third, and by the way, we see another attack at the mineral line. There, lots of damage being done by
Yeah,
Snovski.
here,
actually.
the cannon. Like,
No cannon. You're completely right. Very good moves. Again, canceling it. This Grubby is in a bit of a trouble. He's trying to. Okay, here we go. Grubby attacking into
even
the.
making cannons in his natural.
Wow.
Snovski's playing this so well.
Yeah.
The fact that
Oh, here we go.
he sacked his third, he counterattacked the natural of Grubby, knowing that he would kill the natural, and
Oh, Grubby GG.
he wins it.
First game.